This week on your winter weigh-in, Smug overcomes his trials and tribulations from Wellington to pick up a Hawke's Bay steeple. We take you to the far north, the winterless north, Ruakaka, where we had racing and some wonderful stories from the track. Plus, we reflect on the incredible life of Ngakau Hayley, who tragically passed away last week. As always, great to have your company here on Winter Weigh-In this week. Hamish McNeil joins me in studio. And Hamish, as we come to you, we say hello and welcome, and a busy weekend, of course, with all the racing. Yeah, definitely. Emmy, great to be back up in studio again. Big Sunday for me, but lucky enough I broke up this morning. I stopped in the Waikato and popped English Gambler over a few fancies in the fog this morning, so it was quite fun this morning. But yeah, great to be back in. I'm looking forward to diving into these races. Sam Weatherly is also with us on the show today, and Sam, we say hello to you too. And looking forward to going through that Ruakaka meeting and touching on a few news items as well. Yeah, that's right, Emily, and it was a good weekend of racing, as always, and I also really enjoyed watching that jumps racing, so looking forward to diving into that as we get on. Well, before we get into those race reviews, let's recap the weekend that was.
And Yokozuna, Donna returns to Ruakaka and gets to winner Yokozuna's first home. Bosch kicks, Fly My Ways closing, Bosch in front, and Bosch led all the way for Vincent Colgan. Bosch Vincent. He had a good kick in the locker, Bosch, prepared by Michelle Bradley. She'll get a double for the day. But Reward Smile dashed to the lead with 100 metres to go for Ace Lawson Carroll. And Reward Smile is going to go on and score second over as the victory salute skywards from Ace after the line.
It's Never Look Back hitting the lead for Gail Tiverton. Never Look Back and Emily Farr take the Hawke's Bay hurdles. Smug the leader, 3 lengths in front. No confusing gap this time. West Coast, he's trying to call on that big pumping heart of his as they turn for home. West Coast going to Smug. There's nothing between them. West Coast going to Smug, who kicked again. Smug won it. It's redemption.
Awesome scenes from the weekend. We're going to unpick all of that action right here on Winter Weigh-In today. Hamish, let's talk first things first about that Hawke's Bay hurdle. Obviously, Never Look Back at taking success, and just looking at the preparation, has taken a while to come to it, but started off so well, and it was good to see him get back with the win. Yeah, look, he had a very dominant win at the start of the year at Wanganui, and then I'm not going to say he's trained off a bit, he's run into some very heavy tracks, which I don't think quite suit him all that much. This track at Woodville has been the best track we've ridden on all season. Just it's coped with this rain that we've had the past week very, very well. Yeah, look, it's been a very good performance. He's now 4 from 2 over hurdles. The way he's jumped that last has been gorgeous. You know, that's the kind of horses you want. I couldn't get hold of Gail this morning, but I'm not too sure where she's heading. But I don't think he'd head down south, just with his preference for a bit of a better track. And of the beaten horses, there's a couple that have closed off really nicely. Happy Star, Bury the Cash, they lose no admirers, do they? Yeah, look, Bury the Cash has come back from Aussie, still in plenty of form. He's given the rest of the field at least 5 kilos there, some of them 7, you know. And he's come home very strongly. Happy Star is a horse that's had a long break off. You know, he's come back from injury, but again, was a very dominant national winner 2 years ago, and it seems to be peaking at the right time coming into a national in a month's time, yeah. It must have been special for Gail Templeton because obviously Gail and her partner Stanley Alexander bred and raced the horse, so along with Christopher Gray, so really significant there. We can see what it meant to Emily Farr on the line as well. Obviously, she's closing in on that milestone, isn't she? Yeah, definitely. We touched on it a couple of episodes ago when she had that winner at Tiara, was it? Yeah, on Leitrim Lad. She's obviously wanted to get to that milestone that she promised her father. So again, look, fair play to her, and I congratulate them all for all the success, yeah. Let's move along to the next of those feature jumps races, and it is, of course, that Hawke's Bay steeplechase. And it wasn't just redemption, it was redemption at the highest level for Smug, because they had an option to go to a maiden steeplechase, didn't they? But they chose the big one, and it really delivered. Yeah, look, when nominations opened up on Tuesday, the steeplechase was definitely not looking like a strong field at all. So he had every right, and if I was in Chris Wood's shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. What he did at Wellington can give him so much forgiveness. He went 400 metres further than everything else and still went on the bridle.
I rode Is My Dad in this race, and I've been up sides with Smug for a few of these jumps, and it's an absolute stag. It looks like a very fun horse to ride. He's obviously very tough, but we can't count out West Coast here. You know, he's given the field 7 kgs. He's maybe had a bit of a slow start to the season. He's prep. He's just an older horse, a bit long in the tooth, but you can never count out that horse, because what I did yesterday when I saw a steeplechase fence in front of it, again, you cannot count him out going down south.
Would you feel confident heading down south with West Coast? Do you think he can give another incredible account of himself? What's your sort of take on him?
100%. I've said all season long. I mean, don't get me wrong, his runs on the flat and over hurdles were a bit subpar. I mean, I'm not bagging the horse whatsoever, but I've always said you can't say anything until he's over 5,000 metres and a big steeplechase fence in front of him. And what he did yesterday was lovely. I mean, he even settled for Fannin. He was lovely, and yeah, he's definitely, you can't count him out. He's West Coast.
Yeah, exactly right. And what about that great New Zealand steeplechase is obviously coming up? Do you know what the plan is with Smug and where they decide to go?
Yeah, so I spoke to Matt this morning, and look, the horse has done a fair bit of travelling recently up and down to the central districts, and from all accounts, and reading an article as well, he'll bypass National. I mean, it's his first year, and you don't want to take him down to have a slog there, and he'll look to go for Pakuranga and that great New Zealand steeplechase towards the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's move on to one of the people at the centre of jumps racing in New Zealand, and Shaun Fannin. Shaun, great to have you on the show. Team's been incredibly busy at the moment. Talk to us about West Coast to start with. Obviously, that very close second last time to the races, and good to see him back.
Yes, it was a wonderful effort. You know, first time steeplechasing this season, straight out over 4,800 metres on carrying 73 kilos. That's no mean feat, and to only go down ahead, you know, he was there right until the last 2 strides. I think Smug came back at him, and you know, he's a wonderful jump and a remarkable stay, and it was you know, wonderful to see him back at the top of his game.
Shaun, just quickly here, I'm actually Jesko's number one fan, so I just wanted to touch on quickly. Obviously, Jesko's got a wee way to go, and I've put my head on the block saying that I think he's the best jumper we've seen for a long time. Can he reach that? Can he reach that sort of level?
You know, it's probably a bit easier on the way through when you're going up against those top horses, sort of on those carrying those. We've got a big weight advantage against them, so I mean, if we're going to knock them off, you know, now's the time when we've got a bit of a weight advantage. And, you know, when you're comparing them to West Coast and whatnot, I mean, they've got to sustain that level for, you know, 3 or 4 seasons and carry top weights for numerous starts. So, I mean, he's a horse that we've brought through from the start, and we've always thought a lot of him. And he's showing us all the right signs that at this stage he is heading in the right direction to being, you know, to go on to do what some of these other good jumpers have done in the past.
And like you say, now is the time to be taking on these big older horses coming in on the minimum with fresh legs. But yeah, just a couple of feelings around going across the finish line at Wellington. I mean, we saw some footage of you there. I mean, just what was that feeling?
A relief, a lot of pleasure. It was, you know, the work that goes on behind the scenes to get a jumper ready. I mean, you can appreciate what goes into it, and you know, to select the horse. I mean, it was a 4-year-old untried horse. You know, I just picked him off the photo. He looked like he had a bit of size to him. He was a bit smaller when he came to us than what I originally thought, and the Atlantes were a little bit tough, and he certainly is a little bit tough, a little bit mad, but that's probably what makes a good jumper. They just sort of, you know, be able to push through that pain barrier, and in the space of 3 starts, he's you know, he's gone on to win a Wellington Chase. I mean, that's a pretty good effort in itself, and just you know, being able to back our judgment and get him ready for that was, you know, it was a great feeling.
Shaun, what's it going to be like? Obviously, West Coast has been such an important horse to you. Jesko is such an important horse for you. Comes to Grand National, you're upsides each other. What's that feeling going to be like for you?
Oh, yeah. No, he's... I don't know if I want to be upsides to him going to the second to last or last fence, because West Coast has got one hell of a jump on him, and Jesko's probably not quite as an impressive jumper as what West Coasters. So yeah, hopefully I'm in front of him by then, because it's going to be very hard to get past West Coast. But look, I've got confidence in Jesko. I wouldn't take him down there if I didn't think he was up to it. And since Wellington, he's really gone the right way. I think back in the old days, he's sort of the horse that you could have run twice on one day or raced him the day after. He's just a little bit headstrong like that, so that always works in our favour. But we've had an opinion of the horse the whole way through, and we do back our judgment, and we think he's up to the challenge.
Before we let you go, Shaun, a quick word on 48, who was obviously a winner on Sunday as well. Talk to us about this horse.
Yeah, that was a really satisfying win yesterday. Just nice to get back on track. I mean, he's got a mind of his own. He's from the start, and he has got battles with foot issues, and he won a high weight quite well at Hara, and then he backed up at Waikato back at the end of May there, and that was the start of the foot issues, and we mucked up again by running him on the synthetic, and that hadn't quite come right, so we just had to give him 10 days off and start again. And we were hoping he was right, but it was just nice to see him do that, and he jumped well and hit the line strongly, so it was just nice to get him back on track.
Shaun, great to have you on the show, and best of luck with those upcoming challenges. No doubt the stable will keep going the way we've seen over the past couple of months. Let's get back to our gallops action in the Winterless North. And Sam, a good opportunity to talk the Waipau Cup. And obviously it was a nice win for Reward Smile, and you could see it meant plenty to Ace Lawson Carroll on the line.
Yeah, that's right. It was pretty special. It was quite fitting, really. So he looked like he'd given him a little bit of a difficult ride. He was quite keen early, and I was a little bit worried for him at one stage, but he got him out to the middle part of the track, and he was too good. He had a big red light on him last start, so it was good to see him come out and do it at the start.
Yeah, he's a really consistent horse, isn't he? I don't think he's run a bad race since he's been in New Zealand, has he?
He hasn't run a bad race. He's been a bit unlucky. He's been caught a bit wide in a few runs, and he's had the red light on him. But yeah, I think he's one. I think when Ellerslie gets back up and running again, he'll be one to follow, because he raced there well previously. So looking forward to seeing him go back around then.
Obviously, we see the big salute on the line from Ace Lawson Carroll, and he's a fellow apprentice to the late Ngakau Haley, and no doubt there's lots of members of the jockeys room really feeling the pinch with Ngakau's passing. Yes, for sure. It's I'm not in there at the moment, but we all keep pretty close. We've got a bit of a group chat there, and I know, just speaking to a few of the boys on the side, and that they're devastated. But yeah, and obviously for Ace too, like they were great mates. They were sort of a similar age, so tragic what's happened. And he was just such a lovely young boy who had so much talent. If he didn't have a weight problem, he'd be one of our better riders going round. So yeah, condolences to the family. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's move on to the Open 2100 metre event. And this one was obviously taken out by Bosch for local trainer in Michelle Bradley. What did you make of this win, Sam? Yes, I thought after last start he could win, Emily, and he has done that again, which is good. He loves to get out in front and roll in his own tempo. And sort of when one come around about the 600, I was a little bit concerned. I was thinking, go, Vinny, go. But Vinny's ridden how many winners, so he knows what he's doing. The second horse was a little bit unlucky. I think Haley was a little bit hesitant of whether to stay in or come out, and maybe if she'd sort of made her decision a little bit earlier, Fly My Way might have won, but take nothing away from the winner. What do they do with Bosch from here? Just keep racing with Ruakaka. He loves the place. It's his fifth win up there, and there's a race again there in 3 weeks. So they'd be silly not to continue on that path. I know they sort of spoke a little bit about the Tamaranui Cup, but Michelle's sort of leaning away from that, as he doesn't really like a really testing track. So he'll race at Ruakaka and then
before we know it, we'll be back at Ellerslie, and he's a chance again of running around there and picking up some good prize money.
Yeah, he certainly is. Let's go to one of the earlier races on the card. Race number 1, Yokozuna is the horse that we highlight here. Obviously, there was a very well-bred horse finishing into second. Unpack this one for us, Sam.
Yeah, I think this is a race we can watch over and over and over again, and I think we'll find a different horse to follow each time. Obviously, the winner was very good. The second horse is very good. I love the run of the fourth horse. So it's going to be a good form race going forward. I think possibly there could be targets to go to that 3-year-old race at Ruakaka in a couple of weeks with a few of them if they sort of pull up well. But again, they look like they're going to be really nice 3-year-olds in the making. I
know you weren't able to get hold of Stephen Marsh today, but he did indicate that his beautifully bred horse finishing into second was maybe going to target some of those key races heading forward.
Yep, I spoke to Stephen actually before the race on Saturday, and he was sort of saying he's going to be a lovely 3-year-old, especially once he gets up to 1400 in a mile. So, look, wouldn't surprise you if they took a path down to Rickett, and he looks like that sort of horse. He's probably got to win a race between now and then, but he's in the right stable.
And Sam, wasn't it wonderful to see Donna Logan and Sam Logan getting success on the same day? Obviously, Sam had Ascension win, and we saw Donna successful with a horse of hers too. And for them to have got a winner on the same day was remarkable, especially at Ruakaka.
Oh, it was special. That's home to them, and I was pretty fortunate when I was starting off my career to get a lot of support from the both of them up at Ruakaka. So they're just lovely people, and it's so good to see Donna training back in New Zealand. She's a great asset for us because she's trains a lot of winners, and good to see her going back up, travelling up north and supporting her old club there, which is great to see. And I know that Sam stopped in at the cemetery and put a few flowers on Dean's grave there on Saturday, and look, that might have been the winning result when they both got a winner. So it was very special.
Yeah, that was special to hear, wasn't it? And Dean was definitely with them that afternoon at Ruakaka. Awesome stuff, fairy tale stuff coming out of Ruakaka on Saturday. Let's get along to our Stephen Hunt's running the numbers, and we'll see the key performances, the best performers from that Ruakaka meeting on Saturday. I think the open races fared pretty well. Reward Smile, obviously, half a length above his class average. Ascension was the one to watch because 3.1 lengths above maiden grade for Ascension. A lovely performance by the Sam Logan trained galloper. I spoke to her a little bit earlier today, and she said Ascension's already back at Elsdon Park, and they're going to work their way through the grades in the spring. So good stuff. Bosch obviously featuring in there as well. So they're the top 3 performers from the Ruakaka meeting for this week. Tragically, end of last week, we heard of the passing of Ngakau Haley, just 18 years of age, in a motorcycle incident in Hamilton. And obviously that's had a profound impact on the racing industry and a number of people connected to Ngakau, his family, his friends and work colleagues as well. The team here at Winterweigh want to extend their condolences to the family of Ngakau. And Hamish, we'll bring you in, and you went to the funeral today, and I know you work closely with Ngakau's cousin, and it's just tragic. Words cannot fathom what the family are going through.
Definitely. When I found out on Wednesday, my heart absolutely sank for the young kid. He's 18 years old. I mean, that's not a life lived at all. It's shocking. I did stop in at the funeral. I got there at 11 o'clock and it was packed, which it rightly should be for such a bright young boy who had such a bright future ahead of him and touched so many people from what we saw today. Yeah, it was a very touching ceremony to be at.
Yeah, and Sam, for you, obviously, you would have worked with Ngakau previously, and you've been in the jockey's room alongside him, and just awful stuff.
Yeah, terrible, Emily, as I touched on before. But I have been able to watch Ngakau's progress since he came in. He was a little 16-year-old boy, and he was just full of enthusiasm, always asking questions, always asking for help, what he can improve on. And look, in this sort of that last 12 months, it's really shown, you know, he was riding beyond his years. So it was just it's just so unfortunate, so sad, and yeah, the jockeys room is it's going to be sort of a loss without him. So it's tragic.
Yeah, it certainly is. Honestly, words just can't put into words what something like that can do to a family. Our thoughts and condolences are with Ngakau's family at this difficult time.
Chattahoochee, is this today for Ngakau Haley? I think it is. Here's a wonderful moment in a young boy's riding career, and he gets his first.
RJ's flight goes back to back.
Really good ride by Ngakau as well. He's riding super at the moment.
To win on these Premier days, the Group 1 days, how special is that?
Oh, it's huge. Family here watching, it's lovely.
Drop of something, LJ got him. LJ will win it.
A really good ride here by Ngakau Haley. Sat back, was really kind to the horse, balanced up and has let down nicely. He's a confident rider at the moment, and he's able to do the best here to rein in Drop of Something.
Welcome into part 2 of Winter Weigh-In, and it's time to get into our news. Some of the big news during the week was from NZTR with the announcement of Project Stamina. We welcome in Matt Balesti to the show to talk to us about Project Stamina and what it might involve. Matt, hello to you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I guess we should start with the objectives. That's probably the most important thing for people at home. Talk to us about the objectives of Project Stamina and what you hope it can achieve.
Yeah, I mean, simply put, what we're trying to do is at a point in time, which is now, get together a blueprint or a master plan for what the landscape of the infrastructure looks like for horse racing, one equine, be it thoroughbreds or harness racing, over the next 5, 10, 20 years. There's been some really good reports that have been done in the past. I think this is not a start from scratch exercise. I acknowledge that there's been a lot of work done and expense in getting those reports done. And what this is about is really just a point in time of grabbing that information that's been done and organising it into a commonsensical sequence of where we need to put our focus.
If there was one thing that Project Stamina could achieve, what would it be?
I think a unified view of where we want to go and certainty for people, so that we aspire to having some metropolitan tracks across the country. So where are they going to be located? Where are we going to have training across the country? Where are we going to have trials? Where are we going to have jump outs? I think we really just need to try and streamline our focus and our energy into different areas and make sure that we're not duplicating things across the industry.
Matt, thank you so much for your time. Great to get an overview of Project Stamina, and look forward to hearing more about the project as things progress. Let's get you along to our next piece of news, and that came from the Kieran Maher stable last week. Was from Derby Hero in Willie Do It. They did some testing, I guess you'd call it gene testing, I suppose it would be, Hamish, and revealed that he might be bred to handle the 1,400 to 1,600 metre distances. You were lucky enough to ride Willie Do It. What's your opinion on the science?
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised by the statistics, about the findings, because I think one of his most dominant wins of his campaign was that 75 mile at Ellerslie. I mean, he sat on speed, turned for home, kicked clear and put them to bed easily. I've got a lot of bias towards the animal, but I think he could have won over 1,100 metres first up. He was dragged to the back and educated. Look, he was the biggest 3-year-old in the country, so obviously I think he's an out-and-out stayer, but just could be just a very, very good mile horse as well.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I understand from the Kieran Maher stable. Oh, good stuff there. Yeah. You can tell what it meant to you on the line. That is awesome. He's going to have a light spring, and then they're going to target more of those autumn targets. So exciting stuff with Willie Do It, but maybe targeted at the shorter distances in the future. Sam, at this point, let's talk all things Melbourne Cup Cox Plate, because there's some big prize money on offer with a stakes boost from Racing Victoria.
Yes, that's right. And And before we sort of say, oh, the rich get richer, it's actually they've put the Melbourne Cup stake up to 10 million, I think it is there, and actually it's going to benefit every runner in the race. So if you just gain a start in the Melbourne Cup, they're going to pay back 100,000 right back to last. So it's great incentive. Obviously, it's my favourite race. I think it's the race that most people in New Zealand and Australia would love to win. So now we can, that adds, if you've got something that's going good enough and you get in the race, it's going to pay for your trip and your nominations, etc. So well done to the club, and the Cox Plate's going up in prize money as well. So it's our best weight for age race by a mile. So it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, a number of races have gone up as well. I think the Newmarket is another that's received a big boost, but certainly makes it appealing for those internationals to head to the Melbourne Cup. Pretty much your travel guaranteed to be paid with that prize money right back to 24th. Let's get to our Winter Whispers. We find out what the team have liked across the weekend. And Sam, we'll start with you. You take us to the far north for your Winter Whisper.
Yes, back at race 1 there at Ruakaka, the 2-year-old race. I love the run of Beat of the Sun. I just think he's going to, the way he sort of got back in a really fiercely run race, he looked like he was sort of off the bridle, chasing the whole way. I haven't seen the horse in flesh, but what I've seen on TV, he looks a lovely big animal. And I know it's a bit early to say now, but we've got the right trainer. Donna knows how to win a derby, and so he could quite possibly be a derby horse in the making.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to take you to the open hurdle at Woodville. And the second horse, Happy Star, has come back in great form. He could be one that's kind of slipped under the radar a bit. I mean, he was a very impressive Grand National winner 2 years ago, and seems to be just peaking right at the right time. So yeah, he's going to be one to watch in what could be a very exciting national week. Before
I get to mine, the team have been going pretty good with their Winter Whispers. Sam and Hamish won't tell you, but I think Bosch was a Winter Whisper of Sam's, and Hamish, you had Smug, obviously, who won at some pretty good odds. So team, you're absolutely flying with your Winter Whispers. Well done. I'll go back to my Winter Whisper, which is Mr. Bianco. I'll take you to the Sunshine Coast, and this horse was sensationally scratched from the Winx Guineas when they couldn't find a suitable rider, and this was just a horror watch. Started as favourite, was shooting for a winning streak. I think it was maybe 4 wins in a row if it had been able to win this, and missed the kick, got back, met trouble the whole way up the straight, and still ran on to finish into, what would it be, 4th spot. So yeah, keep a watch on Mr. Bianco heading forward. Looks like a nice type with plenty of ability. I was lucky enough to go to the Warriors yesterday, and I met a winter weigh-in fan. Let's hear Zach's Winter Whisper.
My Winter Whisper is Kevin Meyer's horse called Georgie Wood. And I give a shout out to Sam Whittley for being on the show.
That is the lovely Zach who I met at the Warriors yesterday. He's the son of Julia Ritchie and Stephen Ramsey. And Sam, he's a big fan of yours and a big fan of Winter Weigh-In. He was very keen to hear what our Winter Whispers were this week.
He's one of my best mates, little Zach. He's an absolute champion, and so is Rambo and Julia, great people. So I bet you he'll be tuned in. He's tuned in every week, so he'll be looking forward to watching that tonight. So good on you, Zach. Great job.
Oh, yeah, he was very adamant. What time will the show be on? Will I be on the show? So it got us thinking, if you have a fan of Winter Weigh-In at home, whether they're 11 like Zach or they're older, send in your Winter Whisper and see if you might feature on the show in the future. We'd love to hear from you. For now, though, we have to say goodbye because that's it for this week. We'll say, Hamish, thank you to you. Great to have you with us in the studio after big weekends of jumps action, and to you as well, Sam. We'll be back to do it all again, same time next week.